So, good morning, everyone. I just slowly start to talk since I see that there is still a lot of people coming in. But since it's 9 o'clock in Germany or in Central Europe, we want to start. First of all, some housekeeping rules basically. Just as a general information, we are going to record the meeting. So I hope everyone is aware of that. And otherwise, if you are not a speaker or if we're not in the Q&A session and you will have a question, please turn off your microphone. And that is also important. And as I said, we will have a Q&A session at the end. So first, we just work through our agenda and we will give you the input. And then we will have time to ask questions and discuss things. So I think now there are still people coming in, but we should start. Time is precious, as we know. I would like to welcome you to our Inside Out webinar with the focus on the Philippines this time, and the specific title of Opportunities for Waste Management and Recycling in the Philippines. Thank you also to our partners, especially my colleague Valerie, who was organizing it and managing in the background, and our partners from GIZ, supporting us with the local connections and input. We will have a look on the agenda.
Next week na tayo mag-meeting.
I can hear some.
Sorry, don't hear
Beatrice,
you.
you're muted.
You're muted, Beatrice.
Oh, okay. Was I muted the whole time?
No,
Then I have
you're
to
not
restart.
muted. We can hear you well. Or I can hear you
But
well.
did you hear me before?
Yes.
I did?
No, it's just muted just now, so all good.
Okay. So someone was muting me probably. No, so welcome you again. And let's have a look on the agenda. We just have a short welcome and introduction, and afterwards a short key message, and then we will have a scope on the key topics. So we just start. Well, I would start with myself, just to introduce myself pretty quickly. My name is Beatrice. I'm working for 3.5 years now for RETech, and I'm an environmental engineer focused on waste management topics. And I was also setting up a few years ago this kind of format as a webinar. And the purpose of the webinar is basically to give inside informations from regions or countries, and have a knowledge transfer mainly to the German side. To create access points also for the German economy with local partners. So that's why we are doing this webinar, and we are always looking for interesting markets and countries to create connections. And then I would like to ask Mr. Chilnov, if I say it right. He is from the European Union, transferred from Brussels. You can also say a few words, and welcome.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Can you all hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, good morning and good afternoon from Manila on behalf of the European Union delegation to the Philippines. So I am Svetomir Svilenov. I am responsible for our green economy program here, among others. So I manage 3 of the 4 projects. And I'm also the focal point on energy, where I worked on investments in energy and circular economy solutions overall. So I understand now that I have about 5, 6, 7 minutes to do an intro remarks. I would like to structure them a little bit to give you a bit of a flavor of what the Philippines can offer you and where the European private sector can add value. Now, I would like to focus in that respect on four main elements. First, what is the current reality? Where are the gaps, the key technologies Europe can propose, and what is the added value of our green economy partnership and the European companies in the field of circular economy and waste management. Now, what is the current market reality in the Philippines? You probably already read briefly online. The Philippines produce around 61,000 tons of solid waste every day. This is on a large and immediate market for waste collection and treatment infrastructure. So you imagine that around 20 to 24% of this waste is plastic. So this alone creates a strong opportunity for recycling and EPR compliance systems. Now, more than 50% of this daily waste collection is biodegradable waste, which is around 30,000 tons per day. And as you can already feel, this is a large untapped value stream, especially for composting and biogas. Now, we see annual increase of around 2 to 3% when it comes to produced waste. So the latest figures we have is around 62,000 tons per day, which means that we have growing demand for scalable investment solutions. And this brings me to the second point: where are the gaps? Where are the investments needed? Now, around 40% of all the barangays, which is the smallest government unit here, have material recovery facilities, which shows a clear gap in sorting and recycling infrastructure. Now, landfills are nearing and exceeding capacity, which all of us actually feel from time to time, as very often fires are happening and you can smell it in the air, which creates actually an urgent need for alternative treatment solutions. Now, 70% of the plastic value is lost every year, which is a significant untapped revenue potential. And this brings me to the third point on the technology. Where is the entry point where we could add a value as a European private sector, as European companies? Now, few elements I would like to highlight: waste segregation and collection. So we have the smart bins, the sorting system, the digital tracking. Here, European companies can increase efficiency and reduce contamination. Second, organic waste, so composting, anaerobic digestion, biogas, BSF, the classical areas. So here, European companies can scale this to industrial and energy integrated systems. Then you have the RMR, which are the recovery facilities, where the European companies can increase recovery rate and enable closed loop systems. Then we have waste to energy, and last but not least, digital and data systems, for instance, waste tracking, EPR compliance, etc. So, of course, European companies here will be very valuable when it comes to transparency, traceability, and compliance. Now, where is the European added value into this? And this is my last point. Two directions here. First, Europe overall, European private sector can bring high standards, reliability, long-term performance. Solutions can be scalable, proven, and because we have quite a lot of experience in Europe on this, and environmentally compliant. Now, the European companies, all of you present today, can improve existing systems here by upgrading efficiency, which means from basic collection to integrated systems, increasing value recovery from waste streams, introducing European standards, scaling projects. We have already few cases cooking, so to say, under the various SOs of the Green Economy Partnership, and digitalization. Now, I mentioned the Green Economy Partnership. Few words on that for you to understand, which is actually behind this seminar today. This is a flagship initiative of the European Union delegation, launched in 2023 by President von der Leyen and President Marcos. It's a 60 million euro program we manage here together with another colleague who may be also present today, Alex. It's a unique project where we collaborate with a number of implementing partners, so GIZ, UNDP, Expertise France, and IFC. And how does JEP work? So where do we add value to the JEP? Well, first we work at local level, so the local government units, LGUs, where we identify projects, we create local circular economy frameworks, we promote PPPs, we support startups and MSMEs. We also promote behavioral change and work with the informal sectors. Then the next stage is what we are facing in the following months. We cluster LGU champions to increase and scale up solutions. At central level, we also work with the government, where we work on circular economy, EPR, and other related areas to ensure alignment between central and local level. So overall, what we could do is we can create de-risking mechanisms, we can provide technical assistance, we can provide de-risking grants, we can blend grants with loans. If the case, it really depends what the actual architecture will look like under the Global Gateway Investment Agenda. This is our overarching policy framework, and what the actual team national initiatives will look like, which means an example, Team Germany, for instance, where a German company can intervene into the local market. Then we partner with German financial institutions or with the German embassy here. And then we, from the European Union delegation, can participate through the risking grants or through IFIs or through regional facilities we have in the form of technical assistance. So under the green economy, and with that I will conclude, we have a private sector mechanism that we recently created, through which we reach out to a number of private sector companies, including through the European chambers. We have a representative today also in the program to talk more about this. And we really try to support private sector participation. We try to support technology transfer, and we try to identify areas where we see an added value from European angle to promote private sector investments. So in conclusion, what we can offer to the Philippines, in my view, Philippines is a large market. There is a strong demand. It's a growing regulatory framework that we try to create together with our partners. And I really believe that the European companies can play a central role in shaping a circular economy in the Philippines. So I would like to stop here. I think I already reached 5-6 minutes. Wish you all the success today. Please have vivid discussions, ask questions, and we will be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Smirnov. I think we already got a good overview, and we are really curious to hear more about the country and the opportunities. Therefore, I would like to ask Ms. Corazon Halil Dichosa. I hope I said it right. The names are quite difficult for us, but we give our best. Yeah, please continue with your keynote.
Thank you, and good afternoon to our colleagues here in Manila, and good morning there to our friends in Europe. Of course, it is a pleasure for us to engage with you today to discuss opportunities for waste management and recycling in the Philippines. The Philippines values its long-standing partnership with Europe, one that is really deepening through our shared commitment to a green, climate resilient, and inclusive economy. This was mentioned earlier, and we are very grateful for the ongoing EU-Philippines Green Economy Partnership, or the GEPP, which supports our efforts on circular economy policy reforms, plastic and solid waste reduction, clean and energy efficient technologies, private sector participation in green financing, as well as capacity building for our local government units. Today, I would like to share that the Philippine government's thrust and key initiatives in advancing a green economy, one that creates jobs, drives innovation, and sustainably manage our natural wealth for future generations. As one of the world's most climate vulnerable countries, yet also one of the most dynamic economies in the Southeast Asia, we recognize that our development pathway must be green, resilient, and inclusive. The Philippine Development Plan of 2023 to 2028 spells out our green economy agenda, which integrates climate action and sustainability as cross-cutting issues or priorities across infrastructure, energy, industry, agriculture, and human capital development. The government has made it clear that economic growth and environmental stewardship are not competing goals, but mutually reinforcing objectives. Further, as a rapidly urbanizing archipelago and a major maritime nation, inefficient waste management, which was also mentioned earlier, particularly plastics, poses serious environmental and economic challenges for us. Addressing this, therefore, is among our national development strategy and signifying a clear market signal for modern waste collection systems, materials recovery facilities, recycling technologies, and circular business models. The Philippine government has committed to transition toward a circular economy, shifting away from take, make, and dispose models to systems that prioritize reduction, reuse, recycling, and recovery as early as 2000 with the enactment of the Solid Waste Management Act and recently the Extended Producers Responsibility Act. And now in our Congress are bills on the Philippine Circular Economy Promotion Act that shows the government's serious commitment to advancing waste minimization and circular economy in the country. Thanks to our GEPP project with EU and the local government pilot projects that we currently have, circular economy principles are being translated into practical local solutions, ensuring that policy moves to action, creating demand for circular technologies, systems integration, and ESG-compliant business models. The government completes its green agenda by promoting energy efficiency and conservation activities, increasing renewable energy in the power generation mix, facilitating adoption of electric vehicles, advancing nature-based solutions, and equally important, implementing a national Green Jobs Human Resource Development Plan, ensuring that workers are equipped with the right skills required for an effective transformation to a green economy. To our friends and partners in this call, the Philippines represents not only a market, but also a partner in advancing shared sustainability goals. This is reflected in the sustained European investment presence in the country. Based on our records here in BOI, approved projects from EU countries from 2020 to March 2026 reached around 21.86 billion euros. And Germany is the largest European contributor, accounting for around 48% of the total approved investments. These projects are mainly in energy, manufacturing, infrastructure, and information and communications, all sectors that form the backbone of circular economy development and sustainable industrial systems. These projects, being supportive of our national agenda, have been approved by the government to avail of fiscal incentives under the Create More Act, which includes income tax exemptions, enhanced deductions on major operational costs like power, training, depreciation, labor, and research. Availment period can range from 14 years to 27 years of tax-related incentives, depending on the nature and location of the project. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine green economy is slowly taking shape, further accelerated by the worsening climate change impacts and global developments, including the current energy crisis. We therefore appreciate your joining us today to co-create solutions, mobilize capital, and scale innovation towards a greener future, not only for the Philippines, EU, but also for the whole world. Our office, the Board of Investments, is here to support you and in any investment interest you may have, any assistance that you may need in your interest, and maybe any assistance as you want to enter the Philippine market. And we promise to make it happen for you in the Philippines. So thank you and have a good day.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we are glad that you share your support or give us your support. And that is also something which is really needed to have partners and the support in the local region. And now we would like to get a more detailed overview about the economic data, and therefore Maxantos is going to present some facts about the economy, and that is also something which is of course important to know, and really important for the implementation of waste and circular economy infrastructure systems. So please, Meg, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those joining from other time zones. Today, I will be discussing the Philippines at a glance, key economic indicators, and macroeconomic data. The Philippine economy has shown resilience in the face of recent global shocks and is well positioned for sustained and inclusive growth. Over the past year, businesses, institutions, and governments have operated in a complex environment marked by geopolitical uncertainty, inflationary pressures, energy challenges, and shifting supply chains. These developments have tested adaptability while also encouraging a more strategic and forward-looking approach. Next slide, please. So the Philippines' fundamentals remain compelling. A young and growing population of more than 130 million people as of the 2024 census, with only a median age of only 25.3 years, and one of the highest levels of English proficiency in Asia, continue to differentiate the country as a business destination. Macroeconomic stability has improved significantly. Inflation eased to 1.7% in 2025, one of the lowest levels in nearly a decade. Growth remained solid, averaging over 5% in the first half of the year, with the government targeting 6 to 7% GDP growth from 2026 to 2028. Overseas remittances rising 3.2% by August continue to reinforce its importance to the GDP at 8 to 9%. However, at the same time, in the next slide, the Philippines is accelerating its structural transformation. Infrastructure spending reached 5.4% of GDP in 2025, supported by more than 200 major national projects across transport, water, digital connectivity, health, and energy. Investment approvals reached 1.56 trillion pesos, and digital transformation alone is projected to unlock up to 101 billion US dollars in economic potential by 2030. Over recent years, a significant share of public infrastructure spending was channeled into flood control programs that are now under serious investigation. These issues have not only raised governance concerns, but have also diverted resources, slowed execution, and delayed the broader infrastructure build-out the economy urgently needs. The European business sentiment reflects this dual reality. According to the recent business sentiment survey, more than 70% of European companies expect trade and investment activity to increase, showing sustained confidence in the Philippine growth story. At the same time, nearly 90% continue to face operational, regulatory, and procedural challenges. These combination of optimism and realism sends a very clear message. The opportunity is strong, but execution remains decisive. On the other hand, nearly two-thirds of European companies plan to expand operations in the Philippines over the next 4 years. This is a powerful endorsement of the country's medium-term potential. On economic reforms, we are seeing strong momentum as the government continues to modernize policies to attract foreign investment. A key example is the Green Lanes for Strategic Investments, which have certified 219 projects worth 5.95 trillion pesos as of October 2025, significantly accelerating permitting and licensing processes. In the digital space, the Konektadong Pinoy initiative addresses long-standing infrastructure bottlenecks by streamlining licensing, promoting infrastructure sharing, and enabling new players to enter the market without a legislative franchise. The amended Investors Lease Act now allows foreign investors to lease private land for up to 99 years, providing greater long-term security. These reforms, together with ongoing ease of doing business initiatives and the Create More Act signed in 2024 and fully operational in 2025, continue to strengthen the investment climate and reinforce investor confidence. We also recognize the importance of financial credibility, with the Philippines' recent exit from the FATF grade list marking a significant boost to international trust. Further enhancing market competitiveness, the Capital Markets Efficiency Promotion Act improves transparency and alignment with ASEAN standards and is projected to generate over 25 billion pesos in revenue by 2030. But beyond individual reforms, the ease of doing business agenda reflects a sustained commitment to improvement. Through the continued efforts of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, or ARTA, 2025 has seen steady progress in digitalization and regulatory streamlining, reducing barriers for investors. Finally, the enhanced fiscal regime for large-scale metallic mining provides a clearer and more predictable tax framework, reducing policy uncertainty. At the recent Big Bold Reforms, the Philippines 2026 Forum, government leaders reaffirmed their commitment to fiscal discipline, digitalization, and investor-oriented reforms, including efforts to build a more transparent and predictable audit framework, which is an important step in strengthening investor confidence. So the International Institute for Management Development World Competitiveness Rankings confirm this mixed picture as the Philippines ranked 51 out of 69 countries. Economic performance and domestic indicators improved significantly. At the same time, labor market efficiency, taxation, and international investment metrics declined slightly. This tells us that progress is real. However, it must accelerate. Sustained competitiveness requires continuous reform and strong institutional execution. So looking at the ECCP role, the Chamber has shown its commitment to advancing policies and reforms that support businesses, undertaking 396 advocacy initiatives in 2025 alone. We are at slide 8. Yes, thank you. We also welcomed 144 new members to our network, reinforcing ECCP's position as a leading platform for fostering collaboration and connections between local and international businesses. And central to the Chamber's agenda is driving increased trade and investments, improving the business environment, and championing sustainability and digitalization. We support the EU-PH FTA, promote renewable the Green Economy Program, and push for reforms like construction licensing for foreign contractors, proper implementation of tax reforms, and strengthening the Anti-Red Tape Act, as well as strengthening the Ease of Doing Business Act. We also continue to push for the improvement of the implementation of RA 11898 or the Extended Producer Responsibility Act. In closing, the macroeconomic landscape of the Philippines in 2026 reveal a narrative of tempered optimism and calculated resilience. While global energy pressures and shifting trade winds have cooled the more aggressive growth forecasts of the years past, the underlying fundamentals, bolstered by a robust services sector and steady domestic consumption, provides a sturdy floor. The data suggests that the Philippines is no longer just emerging, it is enduring and adapting. As we move forward, the challenge will be to translate these high-level indicators into inclusive stability. The Philippines is a nation that, as the data shows, is often at its best when the global environment is at its most complex. At the ECCP, we do have several publications as we continue to invest in knowledge and leadership. Our Doing Business in the Philippines guidebook, which has been recently launched this morning, advocacy papers and business sentiment survey provide concrete, data-driven input to both investors and policymakers. And these publications are not brochures, they are working tools for reform. So we hope the attendees in this call will be able to access those important publications, which will be shared by the ECCP. So again, we remain committed to deepening the European-Philippine economic cooperation amid the more complex and operating environment. Despite progress, challenges do persist, and investors continue to face barriers to trade, investment, and business operation. We welcome ongoing efforts to strengthen governance and combat corruption and emphasize that sustained investor confidence depends on consistent enforcement, accountability, and transparency to support a resilient and competitive economy. So as we move into 2026, we do so at a very pivotal moment. Global fragmentation is rising, competition for capital is intensifying, and in this environment, trusted partnerships become strategic assets. The EU-Philippines Free Trade Agreement represents one of the most concrete ways to translate today's geopolitical realities into long-term economic opportunity. And the ECCP remains fully committed to working with all partners to ensure that this opportunity is realized. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Maraming salamat.
Thank you too, Meg, for these really valuable insights as well and the economical overview. Yeah, and it's not just important to have the local partners. Like for Germany, it's also important to have the German chambers of commerce on board to build kind of a bridge between the German economy and the local economy. And therefore, yeah, I would like to ask Charlotte Bandelow from the German Chamber of Commerce, or short AHK Philippines, to give us some insights about the special opportunities for the waste management sector and recycling solutions, more from, I would say, German point of view, but yeah, how we can connect the economies. So please, Charlotte, go ahead.
Thank you, Beatrice. I hope you can hear me and see my slides.
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay. Yeah, so good afternoon also from Manila. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak today. And particularly, I would like to thank German RETech and GIZ for organizing this webinar and bringing together such important audience and for such an important topic. So just to give you a glance, the presentation is quite short. I only have 15 minutes, but I'll give my best to give you an overview of the market conditions, the key challenges, regulatory framework.
Charlotte, wait, you were frozen. Maybe, I'm not sure how stable your connection is. You can turn off the video. It might be probably better. We will.
Yeah, I hope it's better now. My internet seems to be fluctuating. I'm not sure why. But you hear me now?
Seems better. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I will interrupt you if we can't hear you.
Okay. So yeah, I have prepared this overview, and I think Mr. Svilenov actually provided a nice executive summary already. But let's just start with a short introduction. So for the Philippines, I would say what makes it particularly challenging, but also interesting, is the geography of the country. For logistical complexity, for example, waste collection, transport, and treatment, and this is something often underestimated. At the same time, you heard it from Meg from ECCP, we have a rapid urbanization, young consumption-driven population, so a very emerging market. And this is, of course, increasing the waste generation. So over 60,000 tons a day. A large share of this waste is generated in the household level, primarily organic waste, plastics, packaging, so making segregation and collection particularly challenging. Looking at the waste management market, it is estimated at around 2.7 billion US dollar, with projected annual growth of 7%, driven by urbanization, consumption, and also increasing regulatory pressure, as mentioned before. It is important also to note that the market size reflects the formal sector, while a significant share of recycling still happens informally and is not fully captured. This means that the actual market potential is significantly higher. However, the growth is uneven. While collection and transport is still dominate the market, treatment and recovery infrastructure remain significantly underdeveloped. You see on the one hand, we see a wide range of waste types, with solid waste making up the largest share, followed by industrial waste. On the other hand, when we look at services, the market is still heavily focused on collection, sorting, and transport. So in practice, this means that while waste is being collected, it is not necessarily being treated in a sustainable and efficient way.
Charlotte, one question, do you have any further slides? Because we still see the agenda and it sounds like you have different slides.
Yes, yes. I'm really sorry for this connection issue. Maybe my colleague can share the slides. I know that my colleague.
I
see the slides very well.
Yes, we can see.
I think it might be Beatrice, it might be your connection.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Good. Then sorry, I still see the agenda, but no worries.
Oh, okay, okay. Then, but I'm relieved that the others can see. Okay, So, for example, less than 30% of local government units have access to sanitary landfills. As a result, waste is often transported over long distances. It indicates a clear imbalance. Waste generation is increasing faster than treatment capacity. So this is a gap where we see the strongest opportunities emerging. Now, I want to also very briefly touch the wastewater topic. Only 10% is treated, and just around 5% of households are connected to sewer systems. So as a result, untreated wastewater contributes significantly to pollution and flooding. So it's a similar picture here as well, having a structural gap. Oh, my presentation is gone. I think someone shared 1 second.
Can you just share again, Charlotte?
Yeah, I
And
hope,
also you could switch on your camera because actually we could see you quite well.
okay. Please hang on 1 second. There and there. So all good?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So back to the waste and recycling sector. So on paper, the Philippines has a relatively strong regulatory framework. The key law, as mentioned by Ms. Dichosa, is the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act, which mandates local government to implement waste segregation, recycling, and proper disposal systems. However, implementation remains uneven, with only around 40 to 50% of the local government units fully compliant. More recently, the EPR law, the Extended Producer Responsibility Act, was introduced, which is a major shift by placing responsibility for plastic waste on companies. So large firms are now required to recover up to 80% of their plastic by 2028. This is a significant development because it shifts the responsibility from the public to the private sector and forces corporates to build or buy solutions. So that's where we see the market moving fast. At the same time, there is the Clean Air Act. It restricts open burning and sets emission standards, which historically limited waste to energy solutions in the country. However, there's in this area also we see involvement, and we see a renewed discussion around more advanced technologies there. So while regulations exist, the real challenge lies in the implementation and the enforcement of these laws. Now, looking at the institutional setup, so on the one hand, you have the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Umweltministerium, which leads the regulatory body. Under it, you find the National Solid Waste Management Commission, who's responsible for coordinating this policy, approving LGU waste management plans, and monitoring compliance. On the other side, I have placed here PARMS. It's a very interesting and significant organization, the Philippine Alliance for Recycling and Material Sustainability. And they play an increasingly important role, particularly implementing the EPR requirements. And they bring together major corporations, but also recycling firms to develop collective recycling solutions that are essential to bridging this gap. I also placed some private sector players here because I touched water. There are the two water concessionaires here, Manilad and Manila Water. Operational companies like Lionel manage the day-to-day waste flows, including collection and transport. And then there are big infrastructure players like Prime Infrastructure that develop and finance large-scale projects, including waste to energy and resource recovery. So overall, the market is fragmented. For companies entering this market, this means also not only the technology has to be a success or should be attractive, it's also really all about finding the right partner with the right access to potential customers. Now, quickly on the challenges. So we see largely structural challenges. There's also a financing gap. Many local governments lack the budget to invest in modern treatment systems. There is a clear infrastructure gap, as mentioned, particularly landfills, recycling, and wastewater treatment. Third, there's an implementation gap. While good regulations exist, enforcement is inconsistent. And finally, these gaps translate into real environmental and safety risk. So, yeah. But this brings me to the most important part, the opportunities. So despite these challenges, the Philippines represent a highly interesting market for waste management and recycling solutions. So we've, from the chamber, see the EPR framework is now moving from policy into implementation. And we saw already 1,000 companies registered and more than 200 active EPR programs were registered, which shows that compliance is not longer theoretical. According to PARMS, companies are actively looking for solutions to meet these requirements. At the same time, the government is strengthening monitoring and audit systems, creating demand for digital solution, traceability tools, and also reporting tools. We see a push toward more sustainable packaging, opening opportunities for recycling technologies and material innovation. There's also growing interest into the waste to energy topic, particularly as landfill capacity becomes more constrained. Beyond policy, we see now concrete large-scale projects being discussed and implemented. For example, New Clark City, the government and together with private partners is developing the country's first large-scale waste-to-energy facility there. I also read there is some German involvement. The plant will process around 600 tons of waste per day and generate electricity for thousands of households. This makes an important milestone for the sector. And further, already practical example is in the agricultural sector. So in Mindanao, there's, for example, pineapple to power, we call it. Pineapple waste from Dole's plantation is being converted into biogas and energy. The project involves technology providers such as the LIP GmbH from Germany, together with local partners like MedPower, and they use the pineapple residues to generate renewable energy directly for the processing and canning on site. Beyond traditional waste to energy, we are also beginning to see next level of value creation. So the Board of Investment is promoting also projects in the field of sustainable aviation fuel. And this is quite exciting because the agricultural and organic waste streams are big potential in the Philippines. Yeah, in addition, there's a strong demand for advanced sorting systems, digital monitoring, reporting tools, wastewater, etc., as mentioned. So both government and international players are actively seeking expertise, creating opportunities for foreign companies in this area. Moving on to some examples. So these trends are not just theoretical. So we have here the example of Coca-Cola Philippines. They have invested in a PET recycling system line with to meet requirements of EPR, demonstrating how multinational companies are adapting to the regulatory environment. On the next slide, it's hanging. I have another interesting example from the German NGO Atmosphere. They develop and co-finance climate protection projects, particularly in the field of renewable energy and waste to energy. And in the Philippines, they are cooperating with two partners, FDR and ReEurasia. And it's about to reduce methane emissions, generate renewable energy at the same time, and it's creating certified carbon credits. So it does not, Atmosphere does not operate the plant itself. They are really a project development supporter and providing co-financing and certification for the carbon credit topic. Japan has also been long-term partner supporting recycling and capacity building through city-to-city cooperation. But we also found this example, a partnership between University of Kassel in Germany and La Consolación College in Bacolod, working on locally adapted waste management solutions. These projects conducted research on waste streams and test segregation and recycling models on the ground. And they're very important for this topic of scalability and to make them commercial. I also prepared a slide, but I'm sure that my colleague Gwen will dive into this further. So here's just another practical example on how companies can engage already in the Philippines, and there's this interesting tender published for the feasibility studies in the field of waste management. Now, let me close with a practical example I wanted to share. So in 2022, we organized a business mission together with German RETech, focused specifically on recycling and waste management. And it included a conference, site visits, individual B2B meetings with relevant partners. So we've already supported companies there. And at the same time, as ECCP, we are also a membership organization with 300 members. But my role is really the business market entry service department. So we help German firms setting foot in the Philippines. And this includes identifying the right partners, arranging targeted meetings, and helping navigate this quite complex market. So please don't hesitate to contact me. This is all, and I try to keep it in 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlotte, for all these insights. And I think it's also good to know and really interesting that there are already a lot of German companies and projects around, which seems to work out quite well. Some questions came up in the chat, but we will discuss them later. And we would like to continue with our final presentation from Sebastian Casteller to talk, or I think it's done by Sebastian and not by Gwendoline. So since you referred to Gwen, but yeah, Sebastian is listed to, okay, yeah, he said yes, no, to just give us some more examples of implementations for partnerships on the ground. So yeah, we want to go into more detail to see how projects could work and the development of partnerships. So Sebastian, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I have the honor of giving the last input, and for that I would really like to thank German RETech for the opportunity to present the input of GIZ here. And with that, I would also, to close the circle, relate that a little bit to what Mr. Svilenov said at the beginning as an introduction, because a lot of things related there. Okay, the Philippines are on the path of rapid urbanization and economic growth. And a shift to circular economy, which is addressing waste management, climate change, and sustainable development, is therefore crucial, but also a great chance to unlock new economic opportunities for that. And GIZ is a strong development partner on the ground to support the country's transition to low carbon and circular economy for that. We're not doing that alone, of course. You see a couple of logos at the bottom there. So first of all, it's the European Union, but it's also supported by the Federal Ministry of Environment and Climate Action. but also on the ground partners in the Philippines, several Filipino ministries, and also just to mention the cities of Iloilo, Bacolod, and Tagbilaran. So how does it work in the end? GZ is supporting the Philippines through like a three-pillar approach, would be policy, practice, and partnership. For policy, it is development, enforcement, and implementation of circular economy-related policies. We're providing technical assistance and capacity building, and facilitate policy dialogues and knowledge exchange. For the practice, there will be a few examples on that later on. First of all, there are scalable and innovative demonstration projects, how CE could work on the ground. This also to strengthen the local government unit capacity in implementing these circular economy initiatives. And we're promoting inclusive participation through community-driven programs. And for the partnership pillar, it would be the active promotion of investments and opportunities to enter the Filipino market, facilitate public-private partnerships on green projects, and establish a multi-stakeholder consultation and engagement. Here are a couple of examples how this actually works. Charlotte has mentioned EPR already. GIZ has, together with the Department of Environment and Natural Resource in the Philippines, a strong advisory service on EPR. We're working on National Circular Economy Framework, things like life cycle assessment, and then circular economy integrated and comprehensive land use planning example. For partnerships, there is an annual Green Economy Forum and an exhibition. We have the Green Economy Platform. You see the link below there, so where everyone is invited to register for getting information, but also to link up with other interested partners. Then there is the private sector consultation mechanism, and a leadership program called License for Circular Economy, which is geared more to the Filipino government to overcome political obstacles in that field. Then we have for the practice several approaches there. We have an EPR-driven plastic waste management in Tagbilaran. We have a value chain approach for organic waste in Bacolod City. There is an initiative called Crapsulutely Zero for turning crab-based chitosan into bioplastic. Project Lily is transforming livestock waste and water hyacinths into green energy. Then there is a program on e-waste management, and later on I will have a special slide on that, black soldier fly farming. Giving you an overview of the demonstration projects which are currently implemented. This is on organic waste. It's hospitality waste composting in San Fernando in Pampanga, livestock waste treatment in Batangas, then the value chain of black soldier fly and organic waste solution and Bacolod, chitosan production from crustacean waste in Iloilo, what I just mentioned. Then on plastic waste, it's an EPR-driven approach for waste management and a project on deposit return system policy tools. E-waste, I just mentioned already for Bacolod, and also for the circular economy integration would be circular economy integration into local development and land use plans. Here are a couple of examples how successful collaborations have started already. So the linkages between European and Filipino companies are one of the main objectives of the partnership approach there. And here's an overview how like which European companies have already been involved in the project. So Swiss Pharma is one of them, working on the crustacean waste project. Biometallica on e-waste. Naturland is for organic agriculture and soil inputs. With Gottbeck, we're in discussions on recycling of PET bottles. Aquafil is looking into the recycling of used fishing nets. Minimize is also on e-waste, same as Black Forest Solution. The Prevent Waste Alliance is a knowledge platform for knowledge exchange and networking. And then we have an example of a cooperation between InnovaFeed and BioFlight, a French company and a Filipino company, on black soldier fly farming. And for that, I would like to present like really this example. This is something very recently, but also a very successful approach. We were through the demonstration project and the partnership approach, we were able to link up those two companies. InnovaFeed is a leading European agri-tech company from France, and BioFlight is a Filipino agri-biotech firm also working in the field of black soldier fly farming. Just for those who haven't heard of black soldier fly, just like a very quick explanation. Black soldier fly is a tropical fly which larvae is very good in processing organic waste and thereby producing insect protein. The InnovaFeed and BioFlight have agreed on implementing a demonstration phase for the next 3 years and having plans to scale up this approach to a commercial style production facility by 2033. For that, InnovaFeed is providing technology, engineering, and looking into the industrial scale-up, while BioFlight is looking after the local operations, securing the feedstock sourcing, and is responsible for the government relations locally. We have a strategic impact on that. This supports the circular economy and waste reduction in the country, reduces the reliance on conventional feed inputs like fish meal, for example, by production of insect protein. It creates local jobs and value chains and scales the BSF technology to establish a business model in the Philippines. Mentioned that already. The EU-Philippine Green Economy Partnership has had a role like really to facilitate this partnership, and continues to support the two partners on their mission to scale it up. And if everything works out well, then that should be a replicable model for insect-based waste valorization in Southeast Asia. And with that, I would like to say thank you for your attention. Oh, that was too quick. Yeah, so far the part from GIZ for that. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Thank you, Sebastian, for the input and the insights of the projects. And now I would like to open the floor for questions. We can hopefully answer, because there was a lot of discussion already going on in the chat. And if you have a question, please raise your hand. I try to see your raised hand. And I've already the first one from Fabian. So that's the first one coming up. So please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I was just wondering what kind of tendering platforms there are with regard to waste management sessions, and what kind of R&D projects or feasibility studies can be funded through these kind of programs. Because I was thinking, for example, in the areas of e-fuels, I mean biofuels, or agricultural residues and their utilization, this should be a very topical, very timely topic with regard to energy autonomy. And I was wondering if there are any matchmaking platforms for research institutions with private partners from the Philippines.
Whom of the speakers could answer the question? I mean, we have another slide with a call for tenders that would also cover feasibility assessments, but yeah, maybe Dorothee or Sebastian or Charlotte, you are aware of some programs.
Examples that I found were rather private sector initiatives. So I'm really not so sure how it works when to cooperate with LGU. So I would assume maybe GIZ has more experience in that, because I understand that the green economy program is also supporting selected LGUs and providing capacity on how they can design such projects. So the preparation before the tender. And I think that would be also already an interesting starting point to get into the picture.
Dorothee, you turned on your video, so I guess you can add
maybe
something.
to come in here. Thanks for the question, Fabian. We do conduct feasibility studies within the project, but there's only so much we can do within the project. So yes, there is a need for more down the road, and I think it would be a good start to get in contact with us with your ideas, and we also will discuss. We will do a webinar series where we'll also discuss this with further stakeholders. So yes, we are aware of this and we're already on it, and more to come, and please discuss with us.
Yeah, thank you for the answers also, Fabian. Before we close the webinar, we will share the slide with a link for the call for tenders, where I think you could fit in some parts. Then I would like to ask Rusty for the question, because that was the second hand I saw. So Rusty, you can ask your question.
Hello, good day, everyone. I am from the Philippines, especially in Visayas. So, I have an advocacy about recycling company, and may I know how can we connect or to collaborate, especially in funding, because we are now in processing. Mm, what do we call this one? We are in the process about the company in the recycling. We are waiting for the Department of Science and Technology for the approval. And how can we collaborate with you, the EU green economy? That's my question. Thank you.
I would
And
also like. Oh yeah, Sebastian.
yeah,
I
okay.
guess you will have an
Then I
answer.
would answer that. Just contact us, really. It is really something we can discuss anything and any ideas you have there. And if there is some potential for collaboration, we're happy to exchange with you. And also as Beatrice said, we're sharing the presentation and also our contacts. Reach out to us and we can discuss all that.
And yeah, Rusty, besides this, you can also, like, if you just need a single technology solution or component or something like this, you can also connect, like, right with us with RETech. But if it's more about complex projects or something like that, then of course GIZ is your partner in place. Depends on your needs. I think you can connect to us and see where we can help. But I think there will be solutions. I hope that it answer your question. And I saw Piotr's hand is up for a long time, and I think he wants to bring in something about organic waste treatment. So Piotr,
Yes. Dankeschön. Thank you. Thank you, and hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon in the Philippines. So my name is Piotr Barczak, and indeed, I want to touch upon the organic waste and black soldier fly, and I will certainly have a call with some of you. Sebastian, notably, would like to reach out to you on black soldier fly activities in the Philippines. So there was also questions about feasibility assessments. So I just want to highlight that for black soldier fly, it is also very important, and we did feasibility assessments under the GIZ projects, Prevent Waste Alliance projects in Africa, in different countries in Africa. And why it's so important, I think, bringing in European perspective on BSF, and in Europe doing BSF is very difficult and much different also. It's automatized, the streams are limited, and it's actually so much different. So I believe that it is worth to look at South-South experience, where similar waste composition is there, where starting point is also so much different than the one in Europe. So, and organic waste is really the low-hanging fruit to tackle. The climate conditions are very good. By the way, I've been in the Philippines just 2 months ago. I visited also the San Fernando side, MRF, and also Quezon and Malaban. So the MRFs are not yet ready, in fact, to treat BSF. You need very clean material. Yes, you said, one of the speakers said that all the barangays have MRF, but I really wonder if all of those MRFs are really ready to deal with the circular economy, to actually implement circular economy as we understand it. So separate collection is really quite far. But there are some barangays that are doing well, like Barangay Potrero in Malaban, where they involve so much the informal waste pickers, and it's really good, doing very well. So yeah, I recommend you to see. In any case, so I can work on BSF more. I represent the BAGS project. I lead it. It is also supported by Prevent Waste Alliance and GIZ. So happy to share the learnings from Africa with the Philippines under the GIZ umbrella, under the Prevent umbrella. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, also Piotr, thank you for your contribution. Yeah, there are of course a lot of opportunities to treat the waste, and I cannot see any further hands, but I would have actually another question which came into my mind, because we know the Philippines are really kind of scattered and there are a lot of islands, and we hear that there are a lot of projects, and waste management, or especially circular economy, works out if you connect the islands and also the waste streams and everything to like a really holistic approach. So I think that's a question mainly to GIZ. Do you have an overview or like an idea and feeling how well the projects are connected and like how much communication is about solutions which work out and which not? So yeah, I think that could be also an interesting insight for us.
Yeah, and I would take that. I have the feeling that especially in the Philippines, there is a pretty good connection and coordination between the different projects GIZ is implementing and what's going on, and there's yeah, a good learning from that. So if it comes to anything specific, so yeah, we should we can definitely discuss that, but yeah, so my feeling is rather positive on the exchange of information on the ground.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, Dorothee has also something to contribute.
Yeah, thank you, Beatrice. Let me come in here quickly. Of course, it's an island surrounding, and it's definitely more challenging to establish infrastructure in the country, and it's even more difficult to do this in remote. It's easy to invest and do it in Manila. However, it's also important to do it in the Visayas region, and it's a challenge, and it even makes the feasibility studies more important. Maybe that's all what's crucial here to say.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I also have the feeling that there's quite a strong focus, of course, of organic waste treatment because it's the low-hanging fruit. But of course, plastic is one of the really challenging waste streams since there is a lot and it's a really hazard for the environment. There is another question from Paul coming up. So please, Paul.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just don't want to use my camera because I think I have, trouble with my internet connection. Am I audible?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
We can
okay,
hear
thank
you.
you. By the way, I'm Pao. I'm Paul Lagura. I'm from the Center for Digital Illegal Innovation and Sustainability. It's actually a center under the city government of Iligan here in Mindanao. Initially, under one of our proposed programs, we have initial exploratory discussions with the city government with regards to injecting sustainability and ESG reporting to local development plan framework. I just want to ask if is there any chance that we can possibly explore considering that how can the local governments design and scale waste management and recycling systems that can actually uh, generate high integrity carbon credits and fully integrate to ESG reporting frameworks. Because that's one thing that we actually want to explore more, considering that there's no issue in terms of policies, in terms of national laws on solid waste management. But the incentivizing part, that's what we want to actually establish, considering that the Philippines is, I guess, considered as the largest contributor of waste in our marine ecosystem. So thank you so much. If there is an opportunity that we can explore on this particular project in terms of wage management, carbon credit program, and ESG reporting in one particular conceptual framework. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Time-wise, we are almost running out of time, and I just see that there was a really vivid exchange in the chat, and I think probably some people got already connected within the chat. So I would like to come to an end, and therefore, yeah, I would like to show the last slides. We are going to share the slides with you, but please make sure that you were registered yeah, via Teams, that we have your email address to spread the information afterwards. As I already said, there is a call for tenders. The overview you can see on the slide, so I'm not talking too much about it. We are going to share it, and you can, of course, see more information yeah, online. And there is still some time. I mean, we know it's prior IFAD and everyone is quite busy, at least yeah, on our end. But you will get the information super soon. Otherwise, yeah, IFAD is coming up. That's another chance to get connected. Also, some of the colleagues from GIZ will be there, and hopefully even more Philippines. You can meet us, so RETech, in Hall 4. The booth number is written there. Also, if you need tickets, you can use our ticket code, and we would be happy, yeah, to see you in Munich and to meet you there. And otherwise, I think, wow, we are really good with the time today. We are, yeah, through our program, and in this way, I would like to really thank you, everyone, for participating, also for the really vivid discussion and questions which were asked. Yeah, and just as a reminder, please make sure that you were actually registered, that we have your email address, and that we can share further information. You can always reach out to especially the GIZ colleagues or RETech colleagues if there are opportunities for projects, if you're looking for partners. Yeah, and in this way. Oh, I just see that more information are coming up who will be at IFAD, so I think we will meet there. We will have also some RETech program for delegates. You can find it on our website on Wednesday afternoon, I think at 3. There is a big get-together like from all international delegates, so you're very welcome to be there and to meet with us, our colleagues, our members, but also a lot of international delegates for further exchange. Yeah, and in this way, I'm really pleased that we were able to host this meeting today, and hopefully we can improve the situation in the Philippines all together. So thank you very much. So in this way, I want to wish you, yeah, a nice Wednesday afternoon, or yeah, for the Germans, we have our working day ahead, and see you hopefully in Munich.